Hi, welcome to this short video about mapping the role of the head of boarding. We're in Cairns, and there are 4 boarding schools here and 2 boarding residences. To map the head of boarding role, you need a role mapping tool. This is a role mapping tool, and you can see all the different elements across this tool, and underpinning this is another document with the sub-elements. So it's not just the tool by itself, but it's also a lot of these other sub-elements as well. This document seeks to describe all the components of the head of boarding or the boarding manager. And you might be asking yourself, why? Well, why do you want to do that? The head of boarding role is a very complex role. And the reason that we want to map it is to ensure that all aspects of the role are covered every year, to have a calendar or a program of events, to use the document as evidence of planning, and to use the document as a template for reporting. So this is a document, and you can see across the top it's like a program of events. And so the first part of that are elements that we would do at the start of the year during January or February, and then elements that we would do right through the year from February through to December. Then there are planning elements for the following year, and generally you do those in August or September, and then you have review processes. And most organisations review their processes at the end of the year or at the end of the process, while other organisations will have a program of continual review right through the year. On the left-hand side of the document, you've got the different components. So you've got documents, staff, students, equipment and infrastructure, school academic engagement, parent and community engagement, and then management governance engagement. You'll see some of these boxes are in blue, and that's because typically the head of boarding would not do these elements by himself or herself. You would generally do these as either a management team or with your board of governance or a board of directors. So the head of boarding typically would not do these by himself. Of course, this will vary from organisation to organisation. You can see here the way you go across the document. So you've got staff here, and there's a couple of elements that would probably be done by a group or a board of governance. And then you've got everything from induction, rosters, staff communication processes, etc. at the start of the year. And then you've got these elements that are through the year. So you've got your appraisal process, your professional development, leadership development, and so on. And then you come to this section here, which is preparation for the following year. And so you'd be looking at your staff to student ratios, doing your risk assessment on staff to student ratios. And that, of course, would lead to working out the staff required for the following year. And then you have the review process, if you actually do it at the end of the process or the end of the year. You can see that some of these elements have sub-elements, and each of these ones with a circle around them has sub-elements. And for example, if you look at student health and well-being, that's an element, but it also has student sickness and accident, student medication protocols, self-harm and suicide risk, and they are sub-elements of the element student health and well-being. So how can you use this mapping tool in your context? Firstly, get a Word copy and then change it for your context. So some of those little blue boxes may not be blue in your particular context. You might have different names for some of the elements. So make those changes, add detail into the elements document, prioritize the elements, and then add dates for the elements, and then just tick off as you complete the different elements and sub-elements. So you put the detail into this document here, into those elements and the sub-elements. BTA can assist you. Firstly, we can provide the mapping tool and the element and sub-element list, and if you need help, we're happy to provide advice. So wish you well as you look at this mapping tool and use it in your context.